Call to order the Pflugerville Parks and Recreation Commission meeting for Thursday, June 15th. It is 6:59 p.m. Citizens communication. The commission welcomes comment on Parks and Recreation items. Public comment that is made on an item that is not on the published agenda will only be heard by the commission. No formal action, discussion, or comment will be made. Each person providing public comment will be limited to 3 minutes and will be asked to state his or her name and address for the public record. Do we have anyone here who would like to speak? Junior, would you like to speak today? No?
He is a
You
resident.
Sure? Okay. Anybody? Okay, we're good. All right, 3A, approval of minutes. Discuss and consider action to approve the minutes from the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting on May 18th, 2023. Did everybody get a chance to read them? Any corrections, complaints, comments? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I will motion to approve. the
Thank
minutes.
you, Amy. Do we have a second? Thank you, Carol. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Now we're gonna bump up.
D?
4B is composting, 4D. We're gonna bump up 4D, discussion regarding the visioning recap and final steps for 2023 Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan.
So Nikki Ginger is here from Barry Dunn. Jason Gink was here last month, and y'all went through some visioning steps. He did that with the council. He did that with. He did an update to P&Z. I'm sorry, to PCDC, and then he met with the staff and did a visioning as well. Nikki is going to give an update on visioning and where we are in the process.
All right, so hello everyone. I met many of you last time I was here when it was about 175,000 degrees, so it's nice and cool here. Thank you for turning it down for me. I am Nikki Ginger, and I'm a senior consultant at Barry Dunn. Been here for about a year, and I had the pleasure of being here last year as kind of the beginning of your your comprehensive plan process. So I'm here today to represent Jason. He had a previous engagement, so he's sorry that he wasn't able to be here. But just to give you an update on what we're doing today, I'm just going to share a little bit of where we've gone from the May meeting where Jason and Rich were here, and then we'll talk about a little bit of the progress so much progress that we've done, and then next steps. So, do you want me to tell you next steps? Okay. So just a reminder, you all know this. You've been part of this process the whole time. But what we've been doing with Shane and his team is really analyzing where you all are at. What's happening in Pflugerville? Where do you want to be? Where's the park and rec? What's your vision? What's your focus? Where do you guys want to be in 10 years? So that's what this whole process has been since March or so of last year. All right. And if you remember, this was a 6-phase process, so it's been a long time. There's been a lot of things that we've covered. Engagement has been huge. We've done a ton of stuff. You guys are really getting national exposure about it. There are so many communities that now are benchmarking against Pflugerville and really wanting to try to beat you. Sorry, Shane. So you're going to have to do it all over again. And where we're at right now is right at the draft plan. So our designer is working on the draft plan right now, and taking in all of the information, everything that we got from the staff, from the community, from our own analysis, from our team of experts. And this next slide, we're going to go over what Jason and Rich did with you all last time you were here. And like Shane had mentioned, there was visioning and finding sessions that they did. So there was the community, a presentation with the Community Development Commission, 2 visioning sessions with the commission and the department, and then another presentation with the Pflugerville City Council. And what came out of this is you reviewed a list of findings from us. You might remember a matrix that you saw that explained everything that we had seen. Refinement of the findings, the vision, and the purpose. And then you had those great little sentence strips where you participated in giving us more feedback so that we can hone in on everything. One thing that Shane asked us to do was to help come up with a mission statement. And when we were looking at it, we provided several different options and just to start, and then the team honed in on something. And instead of using a mission statement, they use the term purpose statement. And I really like that. I feel like it speaks more. It's not so generic. I mean, what's a mission statement? It's just, it seems so generic, but purpose is like, why are we here? I just love that terminology. And so the purpose statement is bringing in the fun, and of course with the PF, because you have to do that, right? And then vision, taking all that information that was provided, we narrowed down into 5 vision statements. They are create a healthier community through diverse recreation activities, embrace the outdoors and natural environment, increase equitable access to services, serve as champions of community and resiliency, and build the foundation for success. So those are the 5 vision statements. This isn't a time where we're going to wordsmith. This is just to provide you an update. There will probably be some updates, some slight changes, but this kind of gives you an idea of where we're at and how you all are going to do that. And how you all are going to do that is through several different ways. So under healthier community through diverse recreation activities, going to evolve your recreation programs to be aligned with community needs and address gaps, provide a new rec center, significantly increase recreation aquatics activities, expand group fitness opportunities, provide more adult sports activities, and expand indoor walking and running opportunities. Under embrace the outdoors and natural environment, provide more nature-based services, expand services and amenities at Lake Pflugerville, improve mobility through better trail connections, acquire more open space, provide more shade, increase awareness of Pflugerville's commitment to trails and the robust trail system, and then expanding destination-based diverse outdoor facilities such as dog parks and splash pads. And that was a definite, just want to make sure that I said, that absolutely came from the last session.
Excellent, excellent. I
We'll
like that.
have to really dig into that first, make sure. Credibility of that.
I'll bring the mascot next time.
See, that would have been perfect if you brought
It would
Ladybug.
have.
It would have just been perfect.
Honey,
Could have had
can you
her
bring her?
Yep, come right up. And then under the heading of increase equitable access to services, the way that we're going to accomplish that is addressing barriers to services that have been identified through the planning efforts and the ongoing research. Approach service delivery through the lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Increase safety measures. Offer new parks to provide reasonable proximity to residents. Partner with developers to update policies and ensure equitable land and resources. And increase marketing and promotion of services. And lastly, I think I counted right. No, I'm sorry, there's one more after this. Under the champion of community, serve as a champion of the community resiliency. Plant more trees. That was definitely something we saw a lot in our feedback that we received. And providing more care to the tree canopy. Expanding opportunities to provide services and engage staff on the importance of parks and recreation experiences in mental health. Provide more special events and public gathering facilities and activities. And protect and grow green spaces. Now we've got all that stuff. The foundation for it all is making sure that we have the right staff and the opportunities and support for it. So to accomplish all of that, and I'm sorry that I am reading all of these, but there's a lot of details. They are, so accomplishing that through these 6 areas, bringing the city and department's mission to the forefront of the organization's efforts, staff and stakeholders, champion the master plan vision to ensure it's actionable, commit to annual and ongoing reviewing of staffing, operations, and capital needs, embrace the uniqueness and innovation of that Pflugerville is known for, continue to build on sound business and financial practices, and continue to update important policies and procedures. And all of this is just, these are the root of where you go, and Shane and his team will be working on how to accomplish all of this too. What's next? Like I said, we're drafting the plan right now as we speak. There'll be additional presentations coming up, plan adoption, and then an implementation workshop. And then as our team, we'll also be checking in with Shane and his team to make sure that you all are prepared and that we don't just give you some big master plan that does nothing. So we're here along the way. And that's it. Any questions or concerns?
So we'll bring the draft plan in its final form, unless for some reason y'all have something that you add to it at the time of adoption. we'll bring that final draft plan to y'all hopefully next month. That's the plan. It'll be during Parks and Rec month, which I think will be great for us. So we'll have some support through our Parks and Rec Commission on Parks and Rec month. From there, it'll go to Planning and Zoning. It'll be advertised in the paper as any master plan for a city is. So anyone from the public that is interested in hearing about any plan that affects their future will have an opportunity to attend. I think it'll be advertised for 2 weeks. Then it'll be heard at the Planning and Zoning meeting. If approved by them, it'll go to council. It'll go as a public hearing, so it'll have 2 rounds of run at council, 2 different meetings where people can come up and express any concern or support for it. And then after that, it's adopted. So we're looking forward to, it's been a long process for sure. And they all are. Master plans are usually a tedious in some ways process just because you're doing everything you normally do on a day-to-day, but also working on this plan to kind of guide direction for the next 10 years. But we're super excited.
It's a lot of work.
One question I have, if I sound a little weird, I'm sorry, I'm a little stuffy right now. But, there's recommendations and things that people mentioned that would require some kind of like city council action or policy change. Will that be like clearly defined in the master plan, the things that will be like actionable by
So
various
ordinances,
commission, city
ordinance
ordinances,
support,
things
yep.
like that, and kind of like a general timeline if we would like to, because I mean, I'm just curious, because I would like to, advocate for a lot of those things, and I think it would be helpful for people reading the master plan to understand some of the like things that will not be possible unless
Sure.
there's some kind of action from the city or from a commission or city
Absolutely.
council.
So the master plan will have some recommendations in it for increases. I know something that a previous member has been passionate about is raising the parkland dedication fee. There'll be tree ordinance improvements and a couple other things along the way. All that'll come as a form of recommendation. That'll go to council. Once council has a chance to hear it twice and adopt it, then the following meeting after adoption or the meeting after that, once we kind of get our hands around all the things that need to be changed, we'll bring that back to council in the form of a UDC recommendation. So it could be 7 or 8 or 10 items that would change the UDC, and council will have an opportunity to hear it once, and then that second time they would vote on it.
Yeah, so them approving the master plan isn't them approving these recommendations or need to be like formal.
You're right. It is them approving that they agree that those recommendations need to be changed. But to change our UDC, we still have to go through the process of actually
okay.
changing them. Yeah.
Okay, so they would provide comment, so if when the master plan comes to them, they would provide comment directly
Sure.
on the things
Yeah.
that maybe they wouldn't want to adopt
That
or they
would be
wouldn't agree
their
with
opportunity.
adopting.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
To say, oh, I don't know if I want to change how we do with trees or whatever.
Okay.
Now, ultimately, everyone's just one vote in that room, so there's 7 of them,
Yeah.
right? But it'll either go with the recommendation and all 7 or a majority votes for it, or in some way it'll be altered to accommodate whatever the request is from the council members, and then it'll go through, and then we'll have our marching order. So when we come back around, it should be a pretty simple process, but that is the recommendation to make those changes, and then we have to go through the process of actually making those changes.
Great.
So, governance. Anything else? Awesome. Thank you, Nikki.
All right, thank you all. Wonderful to see you again.
Safe travels home.
She
Thank
was
you.
talking to me.
All right, so let's go back to 4A. Discussion regarding director's update, including information about project status updates, upcoming special events, and staffing.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Give you an update on the department for the month. Want to give you an update on Pride. Pride happened last weekend. Was a very successful event. Had 6,300 or 6,400 last year. Had 7,500 this year. So 16 to 20% growth in attendance. It was downtown for those that have not been. It's a downtown event, which does provide some extra issues on an especially hot day. And we did have a hot day. I think we had 8 or 9 heat-related incidents. We had people on site to make sure and take care of those people, but it is one of those things that we're always trying to be aware of. Our Placer data showed we had 7,500 in attendance. We had 131 average minute dwell time, which is great for those vendors. And I think, to be honest, if it wasn't so hot or if it was at a different time of the day, we might have seen a better dwell time. And that's a really good dwell time for us. But we might even have seen a better dwell time, which would be great for the entertainment, great for the food vendors, great for the craft vendors. We are talking about potentially next year. We're having the conversation about what it looks like to just start even later. So last year I think started at noon, and we went to 5 or 6. This year we started at 3, went to 5 or 8. So it was like, okay, every year we've seen an increase. And at 3 o'clock, if that crowd had been there all the way through, if they were able to sustain with the new folks coming in, if that crowd stays, I think we get to 10,000. It felt like it was going to get to the 10,000. We were all thinking we would get 9 to 10,000, but the heat just
Yeah, no, I know, we.
made it
love
really
that
tough.
big.
Yeah. So, if we started at 7, when there's a lot of shade coming from just where the sun's oriented and where the buildings are, and where those really, as you can see right now, those really mature trees are, at 7 o'clock, if you were there at 6:30, 7 o'clock, it was incredible. It was super nice, real breezy. There wasn't as many people, so the wind was definitely getting through to you as well. But if we could start it later, maybe 6:30 or 7, it goes to 11 or midnight. There's obviously an impact to the residents that live near those areas, and trying to make sure that if we had a stage, we weren't keeping those people up at night, maybe moving it. But we are going through the process of just figuring out what that feels like if it starts a little later. I think the sweet spot for that event, I think it could easily hold 8 to 10,000 folks, and I don't even think it would overrun the downtown area. But we can't have that many people and have it as hot as it was this weekend. So we thought it was a great event overall, and we have not done our wrap up yet. We haven't worked with Pflugerville Pride yet, but we will. And if anyone's interested in hearing about the after action, we can bring that to y'all.
Okay.
It usually takes a month or so. Program calendar. We're into camp recreation. We've got some recreation going on at Blue Hole, and we do our once a month hangout at the park. We've got some yoga classes going on. You can see the June and July dates. We have our esports going on as well. We brought in a part-time program coordinator who's working 20 hours a week to help offset the normal staff that would be working on these programs, but with camp, a lot of their time and attention are with camp. And so we have a part-time coordinator helping us keep all of our other programs up, so we don't have to drop it while camp's going on. Senior programs, we've got bingo, the card, the do-it-yourself greeting card class, the Otera bingo movie, the movie night that they do up here at the rec center, the board and brush night. They've got some trips upcoming, one to the Contemporary Jones Theater and one at the Palace in Georgetown. And then they're going to the Domain, Culinary Dropout. They're going there tomorrow. And then Lupe Tortilla, and then Georgetown has the Sweet Lemon Kitchen as well. So this was them at the Round Rock Express about a month ago. They seemed to have fun. I think there was 3 rows of 4. I think there was 12, or there might have been 16 total. Seniors are getting out and about. They're really enjoying the program. Like I said earlier, swim lessons in camp has started, and so we've got open swim time at Windermere. We got everything at Windermere right now. We've got as we talked to y'all last time, we have Gillen Creek is still ongoing, as Jeff and Desmond have given you a previous report. We're hoping to be in Gillen Creek pool sometime in July. So we moved all of our swim lessons and swim practice and open swim to Windermere. We had Austin Public Health come back out and look at the bather load and give us a permit, making sure that we could do everything we were wanting to do out there, and it passed. And so swim lessons have been going on out there. It's been at times a monumental task of customer service that we've our camp and aquatic staff have had to work on, because camp is normally at Gillen Creek and there's a lot of construction going on there, and swimming is normally at Gillen Creek and it's at Windermere. And so Jonathan and his team worked on people parking at Black Locust and us shuttling people to the pool at Windermere. And so people drop their kids off, they drive over and park, and then a shuttle drives them back, or they park in the neighborhood and run down and catch the lessons. And we've got aquatic staff all over the place waving at kids, making sure kids are comfortable, and directing traffic in and out of that little Windermere parking lot. And Gillen Creek, as far as camp, we're making sure that kids are able to walk around the construction zones without getting any type of trouble, and making sure we have spotters as we're walking on the trail. And so the impact this year has just been something that with the, I think it was 42 or 45 rain days that we had. I think we had 3.5 inches more than we averaged as far as wet weather at this time on a normal year. So it's just impacted a lot of different parks. Even if we had tried to go to Heritage Park, Great Red Barn's still being worked on right now as well. And Stonehill's got the dog park being updated with the shade. And so we've just, there's really been no place to go. It's been a great opportunity for all of our staff to show some resiliency. And I've been really proud of how they have stood up to the task, and we've gotten some great feedback and compliments from parents on different sections, especially the aquatics, dropping kids off, getting them in, making sure they still get their lesson. We're running 1,000 kids through Windermere Park for just swim lessons. But if we didn't do that, if Jonathan didn't have the parking lot, if Jonathan wasn't shuttling, if the aquatic staff weren't dressing up as pirates and waving kids in, we'd have 1,000 less kids learn how to swim this summer. So it's been something that labor of love a little bit, but staff's working really hard to make sure that we're still hitting the mark when we can. We also have our floating movies. Got Lilo and Stitch coming up at Scott Mincer this month, and the Shark Tale next month. As far as music, we have the small stage. We have Kent Carter, his country band. They'll be playing at the small stage. It says May, but it's probably June.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, June 23rd. And then Music in the Park. It's Rollin' in the Roots. They've got Cranky Granny Sweet Rolls, Coco's Eats and Treats, and we've got a clown group out there for the last Friday in June. So if you're interested in hearing Kent Carter and country, next Friday at Small Stage, or the last Friday of the month, you can go catch Roland and the Roots playing over in Pfluger Park. It's National Pollinator Week next week. Are we doing a proclamation? No, because council, yeah. We would normally do a proclamation for this, but council took the first, we're trying to give an opportunity for staff in the budget season and everything else going on with the summer to have one council date off. So council meets the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month. They took the first meeting off in June, which is the second Tuesday. That was this Tuesday. They took off, so we would have run that proclamation through if we'd have had one, but it is National Pollinator Week. I think it ties up very well with all the pollinator committee that we're working on as well, making sure that we celebrate the pollinators and make sure people know of them and of their importance in the community. Anything else on that?
Yeah, it's a departmental collaboration between Jonathan Hansen, Rec Superintendent. It's a collaboration between Public Works, the library, and ourselves as Parks and Rec. All three vested interested in that, and so each department is doing a little bit of this programming. So we're working together really in a really unique way as a city to get this off. So
Juneteenth is this Sunday. Pfluger Park, 5 to 7 p.m. They've got Black Pflugerville's running Juneteenth. We've provided the park and the stage. They went through council for subsidy for some support, and they are providing food and entertainment, presentations, a kid zone through the Austin Urban League. I think Austin Urban League is helping with some of the entertainment as well. They'll have some presentations and some announcements. We're running it similar to what a Music in the Park would be like. Same setup, a little bit more food, a little bit more entertainment, but in Pfluger Park around there at the same time, except they really want to be on the Sunday. Austin has a lot of people, and Round Rock's got an event, I guess, Friday night, and Austin has some huge Juneteenth celebrations Saturday, so they want folks to be able to go to those and still have something in their own community on Sunday. So we're going to be hosting Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. Also Father's Day.
yeah.
You can say Happy Father's Day
Happy
now if you
Father's
think. I appreciate it. Other updates that we have shade. At 1849, we've put shade up at both the football side and the soccer side. After these two, we only have 5 playgrounds in our park system that don't have shade on them anymore. Which, when we started doing this, it was just junior and I, and it was just one of those things. It was like, you know what, we need shade over these, and I think there were 10 or 11 that didn't. It was over close to half. So we've been doing 2 shades a year, and we've been doing 3 playground replacements a year, and so all new playground replacements were getting shade. You know, when we did a playground, we also did shade, and then we were also tracking playgrounds that were young enough that wouldn't get replaced soon, and we're putting shade on those as well. So after this, we'll have 5 left, and we're putting in a grant request to PCDC for 2 more this year. So hopefully by September, we'll only have 3 left, and those are actually old enough that we probably wouldn't cover them from a shade replacement side. We'd probably cover them from a playground replacement side, because the equipment's actually old enough that it wouldn't make a lot of sense to put shade over a 13-year or 14-year playground. We'd probably just look at that point to replace the whole thing. Withridge is one of those parks that it was like 18 or 19 years old, and it's doing the exact thing I said we wouldn't do. You can see it's an older playground equipment, and the playground equipment's tan and green. It doesn't match the new shade, but the new shade has come in early, and the old shade was ripped up. And so instead of just having ripped up shade for 2 more months that match the playground doesn't get here till the end of August. And once the playground gets here, it's blue, orange, yellow, green, so it will match the new shade. But we didn't want anyone that's on that playground to be out in the sun, because we'd had some damage from rain, and then kids have found incredible opportunities to climb on each other and pull the pieces that were already torn and make bigger tears. So we just went ahead and replaced the shade now, and we'll demo the old equipment and put the new equipment, and we plan to be completed with that at the end of August. Outdoor fitness court. So I've only been talking to y'all about this for 2 years. We're excited about it. So if you go by Gillen Creek, you'll see it. It is in the ground. There's 2 pieces. So if like you see these little push-up stations, one little side panel, like I'm talking about this little square here, on one of these it just didn't get shipped. So we're waiting for that piece to come in. And then you see how there's these dots here for people to place their feet and do aerobics. There's also a ladder stencil that didn't come. So we are a ladder stencil and one little side panel away from being completely open. We are putting lights out there and some sod, and we've even talked about with this blue bonnet mural in the background, we've even thought about maybe planting a couple feet of wildflowers. And so when it's blue bonnet season, to actually have those under the mural would look pretty cool. So almost there. We think by the end of the month it'll be open to the public. The installers, they install all over the country. They literally install this product wherever they go. That's their job. And they said they'd never been under one with a shade like ours. So when we were working with them, you'll see some places in our park system that there's this sail shade. Mm-hmm. It's like a triangle type shade, and it's a shade in the least amount of terms you can be
Right
shade in, right? Yeah.
underneath it.
And we didn't really want to do that with this. So a lot of these are they're not shaded. So like the one at Baylor, there's only 6 in the state. Leander's got one. That's the only other one in the Austin area that has one. There's one in Baylor. There's one at Killeen. There's a couple in the Valley. Most of those, Grapevine has the sail shade. And I think they're the only one in the state that had shade other than us. But we wanted to completely shade it. And the guys that were installing the equipment, they're like, I've never been under this type of shade. So I think the shade is going to provide a lot of, we would call it play value if it was a maybe fitness value for the court, but will allow people to dwell there longer, to work out there longer, to play there longer, which we think is going to be good. So we're excited about getting this up and running.
2 things.
Mm-hmm.
You realize they make maroon blue bonnets that are from A&M.
No, I didn't
So
know
a
that.
little plug for that.
Next
They look
next
beautiful
fitness court, we'll
in front of
look
there.
for that.
Yeah.
4 years from now.
I wondered because I've driven by this several times. Obviously, I live over there.
Yeah.
I wonder how bad the west sun is going to be in the afternoons.
We went
Have y'all thought
out.
about
We went
that?
out and did the punch out. We were there from 1 to 2. It was
Yeah,
incredible. Like,
It's not
as
usually that. I'm
when do you
thinking
think the sun hits that section?
probably 4 or 5.
Oh, I haven't been there then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might be something to think about because the orientation is such that the west sun's going to hit.
It's
on
gonna
that
come
side
under the
over
shade?
there.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's possible.
So we might want to just keep an eye on that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll
But
have to
it
see.
looks great.
So if it's coming in on this side, not this side, but this side over here,
Yeah, like where the orange.
opposite of the mural.
Yes.
Okay. There is so if you can see my mouse, there is a section of concrete here, and there's a little outlet. There might be a spot that maybe we could put a bench and maybe put some shade over it, and that might be able to provide
okay.
like a secondary for the setting sun. We might be able to do something like that.
Sounds good.
We'll have to see how it handles.
Yeah, I mean, it may not be an issue, but that was one thing I thought about.
It comes with an app as well, so those that are like, man, I really want to work out, but all this looks intimidating to me, they can just download the free app and it shows you. And if I put more slides up, on each side of the end cap, it also has the ways you can work out. So you could just walk up and read on these end caps here and on the other side. And this is an ADA spot. You can come in ADA here, and you can also get out ADA here. This section here, like the trail, just touches it perfectly. So the trail is just going to work straight in, so people can come off the trail and use it. They can ADA off the parking lot on that side and use it as well. So.
Is it open to use, even though there's some pieces missing?
Not yet, because we don't want people out there when we're ready to lay down the bollards and everything else. But will people step over the fencing and use it? That wouldn't shock me.
Oh, so there's fencing still?
Yeah, there's
okay.
there's safety fencing stuff.
So when will
That's
it be,
what I say. No,
when will it be ready for
we're open by the
consumption?
end of the month. As soon as we can get some lights out there and lay down the sod, it's ready to go.
Okay.
The court in itself essentially ready. By Friday, they're supposed to have the two pieces they're missing. We're supposed to have the court its stuff done by this weekend. We'd love to get the lights out there because, even though it doesn't get dark super early right now, we want to make sure, if someone tripped, they couldn't say that they didn't see a spot. So we'd love to get the lights out there. We have some bollard lights that are 4 feet tall, so it'll just help with the overall. And then we have a couple of lights that are on the edges that people can see as they're coming in. The marketing, so this is the Texas Association of Municipal Information Officers, TAMIO. So it's kind of like our Parks and Rec, but it's for communications department. They put some awards up at the state level, some that they've been working on. The selfie, City Hall selfie, there was another one. But they also put up two of the marketing campaigns that we had done for our master plan that we've won a state award and a regional award for. And we ended up winning a couple more awards, which was really cool. So we won an award for the marketing of the campaign overall. And we also won an award at the state level at TAMIO, an award of excellence for best use of social media planned. And that was the two cameos, the Purred Happily and the most interesting man in the world one. So that was
Awesome.
great to get a little extra recognition for that. New shirts. So we have new shirts in for those that had been here at Christmas of last year. We designed some shirts. The challenge from city manager's office was let's create some cultural things that make people see a Pflugerville shirt and connect with someone else wearing a Pflugerville shirt. So this one previously was a baby blue one that said there are no F words in Pflugerville with a little bar of soap. This one was like gray. This one was a baby blue. So we redid these in different colors. So people, if they really like that design, they can get another version of that. We had a black PFTX and we kind of went with the military green and did the like MASH military font.
That's exactly what I
Yeah.
thought when I saw it.
And we think that one's going to be super popular. Then we did another Ville, just like we had done for essentially the Pride Villes, but we did one for Juneteenth. And so we're going to have those out at Juneteenth this weekend. And then we did one for introverts and extroverts. So if you're introverted but you're willing to talk about Pflugerville, you feel comfortable, you can wear that shirt. Or if you're extroverted and you really want to talk about Pflugerville, you can wear that shirt around and warn people ahead of time. If they see you at the store, maybe they avoid you. But
What if
so-
you don't know which one you are?
that's right. Well, I guess you could go front and back.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Double it up. Like, we'd have to figure out how we sew the seams,
Yeah,
but we could. We're resilient. We'll figure it out. So we were just looking at them, Kelsey and I. I think the military one's in. The Ville one is in. There's another. Oh, this one's in. These three are in. Once they're all in, they'll also be in by the end of this week. We'll take the ones that we have been selling down, and we'll put the new ones up. And we'll offer this body one free, like we did last time. And then y'all can get any other ones you'd like as well for the $20 a shirt. And we'll take the ones that didn't sell from the previous round, and we'll either discount them and put them out, or we'll see if we can use them for swags or giveaway or something like that.
Have we thought about selling them in like HEB or seeing if they would sell them?
So it's interesting. One of the things we had talked about potentially is just taking all the shirts we didn't sell, and just offering them to Three Legged Goat or West Pecan Coffee, and just saying, would you buy them all for $7 or $10 a shirt, and then you can sell them at a resale rate, and that's the way we get rid of the whole lot of them. West Pecan, when we first designed that first round of shirts, we're interested in the French shirt and the Ville shirt. We ultimately we couldn't really wrap our heads around how we were going to sell at West Pecan and sell here, and is it same price or different? And Mary was fine with saying, well, let's figure it out in the future. We're busy as well. And so that may be a great way to incorporate some businesses is like, hey, these are shirts that are popular. You could take them back in, pay up, buy them at a discounted rate and
Yeah.
mark them up or whatever. So it may be what we do, or we've talked about in previous cities, I've done things called random acts of recreation where we just go out, we create a package and we go out and we find you recreating in the park system somewhere and we give you a bag with a shirt and a koozie and a hat or whatever. And so they could be giveaways, they could be things that we give for new staff coming on. There could be any number of things we could do with them. But we're excited to get the new shirts up and see how they do. And you know, as soon as we get 3 or 4 runs of these, we'll really start to know what designs people like and the colors people like, and then we may come back and do a favorites year next Christmas or something for if someone missed on a shirt that they really like, we can come back and do it. But we think the Ville provides, you know, it allows us the opportunity to really show some of the cultural that we're trying to support. I mean, we could do a Mexican Heritage Day, and it could be like a green shirt with the you know, the colors of the Mexican flag on it, or it could be a Deutschenfest type shirt, and you can maybe do the German flag colors. I mean, I think we could show the culture through the Ville with that as well. So we'll continue to try some new versions of those shirts if they sell well.
We could have one that said dogs are people too.
Let me see. You know what? My pen's not even working. That's weird.
Feel free to use mine.
Cummings. So Kevin Carranza came to us previously. He worked in the military. He's at Fort Hood. Loves to travel. Is a foodie, and his favorite meal is a burger. Sometimes it's tough getting these guys to talk. They're like, all right, what's your favorite meal? This is burgers. Okay. Prisco Marquez, he was a little bit more talkative, but he had worked at FedEx previously. Loves boxing, going to the boxing gym, and then spending time with his family. His favorite meal is steak, potatoes, and asparagus.
Which is why he goes to the boxing
That's
gym.
right. Work all that off. Goings. So Dennis is this gentleman right here. This was selfie day, and Dennis was like, I don't know how to do a selfie. I'm not taking a selfie, because we were all challenging departments to do the selfie day. And so the whole group got around him to help him take a selfie. But Dennis has worked for the city for 4 years, and he had 4 years in the military as well. And he is of the age that he is ready to retire and enjoy his family and the lake house they've been working on. And so his last day with us is June 23rd. We're going to miss him. He's been a lot of fun. As you can see there, the red face, being forced to selfie. The other thing that I wasn't able to get in, I just wanted to bring up, if you go out to the lake, you're going to see a little bit of damage. There was a sub under Encore that was working, tried to do a turnaround in the parking lot at the lake, and I wouldn't rate their turnaround skills as proficient. And he did some damage to the gate and the entrance and the medians and flowers and other stuff. And so the Encore was horrified, and they're very apologetic, and they're already starting to work on filling in the medians and getting things fixed. They think in the next 2 weeks it'll be completely fixed. But just as conduits to the city, if a citizen's like, what's going on at the lake? It looks like it's gone through a hurricane. It did.
Well, it sort of
Yeah, it kind of did. So there was some damage, and they are working on getting it fixed.
Okay.
I thought I called one of Desmond's teammates, Isaac, who is the CIP project manager over the lake improvements that were almost completely through punch out. And I told him, I thought he was going to cry on the phone. Like he sounded, he was like, are you kidding me? So it wasn't a fun phone call to get, but you know, those things happen sometimes, and staff are working really hard. Oh, actually staff and Encore are working really hard to get it fixed. So I don't know if there's any questions. Awesome.
All right, 4B, discussion regarding the creation of a composting program in Pflugerville.
So I obviously want Jennifer a chance to speak, and and I didn't know what direction. I just want to give y'all some background on what I know as far as composting with the city, because I've only been here 4 years. The operation itself was discontinued by council in 2021. I have a PowerPoint presentation queued up that was said at the work session that I could run y'all through if you are interested in just knowing a little bit more background. But essentially, this is the treatment plant, and this is Public Works, and this is where all the stuff happens. And these are two big areas that are impacted by potentially the odor of the wastewater treatment plant and some of the composting stuff. And you could tell 20 years ago when that was built, this wasn't a really nice now business park, and this wasn't much of a neighborhood. It's growing more and more every day. And so there were some aging infrastructure concerns. There was cost versus expense that they were spending out there. There were usage. I think the report says they were doing a lot of work for the composting, and I think they were getting 12 users a weekend to pick up the compost. So it's like, to what end at some point is this really a big deal to the city? Obviously, odor and size of operation. So if you are interested in the PowerPoint, do y'all want to just see it? It's like 7 slides. I can kind of run you through it real quick.
Sure.
And then Jennifer can talk about what her thoughts were. So this was in 2021. It was a work session where utilities, not parks, spoke to the council about next steps. And ultimately at this meeting, or a meeting soon thereafter, council decided to end the composting program, partly because of this discussion and what happened. So they had stated that they had some ineffective and aging equipment, the time that was focused on that, the quality of the pill, and the odor. So this composting area here, I'll go here real quick. So there are a couple different ways that people did their composting in other cities. Some just take it straight to the landfill. Some haul it to a compost facility. We were doing that. Some treat it only to where it's a class B, and it can be worked with other sludge to be managed and matriculate through the wastewater plant. That's all that they were getting it to. I'll be really honest, if I say anything about biogas and heat pelletization, I'd be lying. I know nothing about it. We do windrow. Windrow, for just the easiest way to explain that is, windrow is when you take that sludge and sludge moves into what we call our compost area, our windrow area. It's 4 feet tall by 4 feet wide. Combinations of wood chippings, food waste, and the sludge from the wastewater plant. And you turn that over for, actually I have it in my notes because I don't think I had this. You turn it over for 15 days straight, 5 times a day for 15 days straight. Give me just a second. Yeah, minimum 5 times a day at 15 days straight, and then it cures for 30 days after being turned over for 15 days. So this is a windrow. This basically is a long column of this sludge that has been combined with food waste and wood chippings, and you turn it over 5 times a day for 15 days, and then you let it sit for 30 days, and it's just composting, and there's definitely an odor to it. And obviously this is one of those things that, talking with Brandon, the utility guy, they had so much compost because of how fast the city was growing and how much need they could have had, that they would have needed to had these ball fields to accurately do all the, I guess, sludge they were creating. So they weren't getting it all, which is why part of what they were doing was the windrow technique and still hauling to a compost facility, because they didn't have enough space to windrow it all, so they couldn't do it all. Austin, for example, doesn't haul because they have enough space in the Austin wastewater area that they do a complete windrow. So it's rows and rows of this pill and sludge sitting and getting flipped and then being allowed to cure, and then they can restart to build other mounds and do that over and over again. We didn't have that type of space. That was part of the problem. So we were still hauling some stuff off, but we were trying to do some so we could serve the public with what we created. If we did it after 30 days and it cured, then it had to be tested to see if it was sufficient enough to hit Class A, which is the things that it needs to be for the public to use it in some capacity. And then once it was considered Class A, there was a special screen called a Trammell screen, and I don't know anything about it other than the name, that it has to run through before it can be used in the public. So then, once they did that, Compost would be put out Friday, Saturday, Sunday Friday, Saturday, Monday at the recycling center. And they were averaging 12 customers a week. So a lot of work. Not enough space to do it correctly. And what they were creating, they were taking out. And it was 0.35% of the public actually using it.
Which is actually surprising to me, because the couple of times I went out there to get either compost or mulch,
Yeah.
the compost was always gone.
Yeah. And it might have been that they couldn't create a lot, so
Could
you
be.
were getting to a certain amount, but,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that 12
I was gonna say
people a
there's
week were
12
taking it
people,
all,
like,
right?
Yeah, that's very possible.
Might be it. And so ultimately, they were looking at cost over time, and it just was never gonna get to where it was for free. They said they could charge and get that delta back up, but at that point, you could also go to Home Depot. It's packaged differently, it's easier, it's probably guaranteed to be safer in some capacities. And so at that point, it wouldn't make any sense from a cost perspective. So they took it to the council and said, listen, we can continue to do what we're doing with no improvements. We can do what we're doing, but you purchase this new equipment, which looks like it would have cost right around $1 million, or we can discontinue the operation. That's ultimately what they did. So that's where we're at right now on the composting side. And I know Jennifer was interested in talking a little bit more about it. And I just wanted to make sure everyone knew where we were at. And in some ways, it'll probably be a bigger decision than just us in this room if we decide to go back to it. So
Basically, I just wanted to know if it was a possibility.
I think maybe if the wastewater expanded, and they are expanding, you know, I don't want to be here. I don't want to sit here and be the person that says it never comes back.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like in its current setup that it made sense for staff to recommend it to council. And so they gave them 3 options, and council said, let's cancel it. It was obviously losing money. There was obviously an odor to it. And it wasn't serving a huge population of people. Now, like we said, the 12 may have gotten a bounty every
Yeah.
time, but it wasn't serving 1,200 every weekend. It was just serving 12 a weekend. It was a quite expensive and labor-intensive ordeal for those 12 people. So,
Did a lot of people know about it? How well known was it in the city?
so
It's very well known.
okay, was
I
it?
mean, I lived here for 15 years. I went out to get mulch all the time.
Okay.
I never even knew there was compost.
Okay.
And
I honestly
and
didn't know we had a program before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm the kind of person who looked for all kinds of programs, and so we used the drop by drop.
Drop by
and,
drop.
You know, we used the mulch that was out there, and we went out there to drop things off that you couldn't put into the trash and all. So the fact that we were actually out there all the time and didn't know about it, I'm kind of guessing it wasn't a widespread knowledge.
Completely possible. I got here 2019, and COVID followed me soon thereafter. So I don't know how well it was organized. Junior is the only person that's been here longer than.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what Carol said. I think it was used, but certain people used certain aspects of it. They didn't use all of it.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Now, you know, we've talked internally, and maybe when community gardens open back up, you know, that we could do something, and maybe it just serves the gardens, but it shows some sort of, you know, how food waste and wood chippings and everything goes back into the earth, and how it all kind of cycles. And maybe we get some of those composters, and you know, kids could get out there and turn them and
That would be
see it
good,
sit.
because the only thing I ever got out of my compost was sneaking.
Right. So, well, isn't that a healthy sign of some
It
compost?
is
Yeah.
very healthy,
So-
but very scary at
Yeah.
certain points.
So I think we have an opportunity to say, could we do something, education, and maybe on a small scale at the nature center in the future? I think absolutely, we're all
That would be
interested in
great.
that. Will the city go back to some sort of composting? I would bet on no, but you know, the wastewater treatment plant's expanding, some other things are happening. I think even if the plant was as big as it was, I think you have some more high dollar commercial and residential than you used to have all around it. I know the apartments and some of those other things are building up, but I mean, I live in both, so I sometimes smell the wastewater treatment plant too as well, but I don't know, living right next to it, if you'd want to see rows of windrow just waiting there. So,
You wanna
Yeah,
smell
somebody
roses
tried to
like that, yeah.
convince me the other day that that smell was actually coming up from LaGrange.
yeah, I don't think so. So, yeah, I don't know if we'll go back to what we used to have. I think we could do something in the future on a smaller scale.
Yeah, a program would be pretty cool. And you can, you know, we got free pallets and we made a compost at our house that's just with pallets. We recently got a barrel, which is way more sophisticated.
Just
But
bring
yeah,
unwanted wiggly things.
yeah, yeah.
But they're so far down, you never see it.
That's right.
Well, whenever you get the compost, you see it.
I did learn very quickly how to identify them.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You learn pretty quickly. We could bring something back in the future. You know, in some ways, this is, if all we're doing as far as the department is talking about it in the context of the nature center, we're a ways away from that. If y'all want to have Brandon from utilities come and give y'all a presentation, or you want to talk to a council member or something about it, you'll have every right to do that. We can invite him in this thing. At some point, it's, I hate to be the person that's above his pay grade, but I have no ability to bring it back if I wanted to. So if this is something this board is interested in, we can help y'all pursue avenues to have a discussion about. And we have the time right now to talk about it. But the way it was previously, in its current capacity, in its current form, in the current location, I don't think you'll get a lot of support bringing it back.
And it wasn't the city picking up compost at folks' homes, or was it people dropping off food? No, sorry, not compost. Was the food being picked up at people's houses, or was it being dropped off?
So the food waste is interesting because Kelsey asked me that, and I don't know that either. I think the majority of it, I think the food waste came from community garden, that if they were turning stuff over. I think the majority of, I think it was sludge being created from the wastewater plant, and then the chipper program providing wood to start that process. And then I think if they were finding some food waste, they were obviously putting into it, but I don't think they were going around picking up food waste at the homes. Once again, I wasn't here.
There could have been some institutional schools.
Yeah, I think there could have been some avenues, but I don't think they were going door to door picking it up. Yeah.
No, they definitely were not.
Oh, okay. Whenever I saw compost program, I was thinking of in Austin, where they
Yeah.
they pick up the
At
compost
those bins or whatever, yeah,
with
yeah.
the bins with the green bins. And
No,
I was
think-
really excited. I was like, "Are we gonna get a compost
I
program?"
think it was mostly what was being created at the wastewater plant, the wood chipping program, and some of that. And then if there were food waste from the community gardens, or if there was a group of people collecting them and taking it somewhere, that was getting added to it. That's all I know.
Yeah, because Austin has it where they pick it up from the homes, which is really nice.
Or
Yeah,
at least
it's really cool.
Yeah.
are the home, does each home
I
have its
thought
own
that was a
canister? Does each
commercial
neighborhood have its
company
own?
doing that,
In
that-
certain neighborhoods, I know they have a canister.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a canister.
But I
We
think
would-
it was something, I
The
mean, it's
compost
not
bags.
waste management, but it was a company doing it, not the city.
Oh, okay.
And that's why it's only in certain areas.
Oh, okay.
Especially the area, there's one area where it's all bike. The
Uh-huh.
people who pick it up literally pick it up on bikes, so, yeah, it's not a huge program.
That would be interesting though if you could partner with somebody like an organization outside of waste management that would pick it up for people that are interested.
Yeah,
I don't know
you-
how much, I don't know how popular it'd be in Pflugerville, but
You usually is a disclaimer. I have seen those types of things negotiated with a trash pickup. Can we also get recycling? Whoever's bidding on trash, like, yeah, sure, we'll give you recycling. You know what I mean? Like, that might not even be their main core. They may ship that somewhere else, but they're so interested in getting the trash pickup that they'll do whatever. So, maybe in the next round of trash pickup, we say, if we're talking to whoever's making those negotiations, I would assume that's maybe Public Works. But maybe talk to city manager's office and say the next time the contract for trash pickup is negotiated, we want to say one canister for neighborhood that holds food waste. I'm sure at least some of those firms would be like, absolutely, we'll do whatever you want. Like, the time to get some of that stuff is usually in the negotiation of your next contract. They'll do almost anything to write it in and say, yep, but coming to them right now, the second year of a 5-year deal, they're like, yeah, get lost. We've already got our contract.
I mean, I have less than a bag of trash a week because of the
Yeah.
fact that we compost at our house. So
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible whenever.
Yeah,
it's picked
I
up.
still, the canister idea, I think, probably has an opportunity to grow in some capacity, but I would think, once again, I'm not in those discussions. I'm not usually the person they talk to about the trash pickup contract, but I would think that would have to be negotiated in that process. I mean, Junior and I have talked about the next time they negotiate that process, we're trying to get more trash cans in the park system. just as a throw-in, like a rider that you see on one of these bills. We're like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, give us 100 more trash cans. You know, it's one of those things that they'll do those types of things to win the favor of the who's selecting them. Yeah, we like your service, and you're going to provide 100 more pickups and 100 more trash cans or whatever. So we've talked about that even internally, like how can we take advantage of a contract and get a couple extra trash cans or whatever that we don't have to pay out of our general fund. So I think the best way to do that would be in some sort of negotiation.
So who would we pitch that to then?
It's a great question. I don't know who, Kelsey, do you know, or Jonathan Jr.? Would it be Public Works that does trash?
So try to get in contact with somebody from there.
Yeah. What y'all could do is someone from this group could do a one-pager. Everyone could sign it. We could bring it back the next time or a time after that, and y'all have all agreed that it goes to whoever, and our staff will take it to the director of Public Works or whatever and say, they would love to have this negotiated next contract. I don't know if you want to talk to them first and bring them here, or if you just want to maybe just send a letter saying, we feel like in the next negotiation you could get a couple food canisters. Maybe it's one per every 2 neighborhoods, or maybe it's one you're dropping them off at the recycling center or something. I don't know. But whatever y'all are wanting to ask for, I think that's the way to do it. Make your voice heard as a group to the director of Public Works, and if you want to create some sort of conversation, I'm sure Evan would come over one day and meet, just like Jeff has, and other folks have come over before.
I'd be interested in that. Are you guys?
So,
All right, cool. We'll
I saw you writing down, would the two of you like to partner to write up something we could then
You
sign?
get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely interested.
I would suggest including in that you not only ask them to pick up the compost, but that they bring the once it really is compost, that it comes back to the city of Pflugerville. They don't just take it
Becomes
away.
available. Yeah.
Mhm.
Give it back. Awesome. I like that. On a slightly different note, all that mulch that happened from the winter storm, like all those trees that you guys broke down, are we using that in the park system at all, or what's happening with that?
We'd have to probably bring that back
I think
for.
it's part of their contract with a third party.
Oh, okay.
third party.
I could bring it back on next month on an update, but I
Okay.
think it's.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I think
I think it's like Austin Wood.
I honestly don't know what
Oh,
we're
okay.
doing with it.
Okay. Yeah. It's
I
just-
think for a while they were allowing the public to pick it up, but I think at some point it was,
Part of the contract was. to
if you
take
chip
it
so
away.
much, you can take it away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can give you an update for that though.
Okay. Yeah. That'd be great.
And just a question on that, just because I want to make sure that I'm, following the requirements of the commission. Am I allowed to email Jennifer, because we're only 2 people,
Yep.
directly about this without?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you
Yeah.
can't bring in me or anybody else.
Yeah.
But
Correct.
the
I
two of
think
you can
3
talk.
was the max that we
Yeah.
can do.
3 is the max.
3 is the max.
Oh,
but
is 3 the max?
Yeah, 3 is
Oh,
the
okay.
max.
Because 4 is a
Sorry.
quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just have to stay under that number
I
that.
didn't want to get my hands on like, hey.
Nope.
And
Good
I'm
question.
guessing Jennifer's on your email that you sent.
Yeah, make sure y'all have contact information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any
anything
other
else?
questions? Okay. 4C, discussion regarding Parks Foundation work session.
This is another Jennifer topic. But the Parks Foundation Subcommittee has been hard at work behind the scenes. If you'll click to the next slide. Oh, sorry. And they are ready to proceed. So one thing that we would like to do before next steps is bring someone in to discuss with the entire commission the steps they took to initiate and start a Parks Foundation. So up here you'll see some logos from various Parks Foundations across the state. Shane and I both know some of the directors in these cities that helped establish Parks Foundations. Some of them have since retired. And we think that we could get one of them here to speak to the commission on the various steps that they took to establish that 501c3 and the Parks Foundation. And so we wanted to bring it to the commission to just open discussion, talk about it. But our thought process would be a work session before a commission meeting. So if the commission likes that idea, we'll send out a doodle poll to see what date would work better for everybody, but we'd probably just start at 5 instead of 7 have a work session and then have our regular meeting.
So do you know anybody on the brand new, spanking new, still shiny Travis County Parks Foundation?
I don't, but I did see their logo and it's really
Yeah,
great.
it
I bet-
is.
Those are the ones that-
I bet Robert
Looks really nice.
and Tim would know, Robert or Tim. We,
Yeah,
we,
we could
we
find
know the assistant director of Travis
Oh, okay.
County, so.
Yeah, I just found, I was reading that article, considering
Yes.
our discussions, going, whoa.
Do they have a tree? It seems like you need a tree in your logo,
No, theirs wasn't as,
Yeah.
some sort of greenery.
but Georgetown has been around for a long time, as has New Braunfels. I think Louisville's is fairly
Fairly new,
new. Missouri City has been around for a while. But we could certainly look at Travis County as well. They're pretty close, so.
Yeah, I was just,
that'd be-
we are in.
We are.
I do think it would be kind of cool if we could get somebody that's been around for a while, because I think that they could give us a lot of advice too on projects and different things like that
Right.
potential. But I mean, anyone would be amazing, don't get me wrong.
It would be
One
both
who
to have,
is freshly.
exactly.
There you go, yeah.
processed.
What pitfalls did you just?
Yeah.
We could
Yeah,
try to get
That's
I like
true.
that idea.
Yeah, that's
Stacy
really,
and
yeah, that's a
Robert.
really good
And
idea.
How
then
much
once we
info Robert's
get it going, we get
Yeah.
them back to say, and
And
when
then you
you're
get-
ready.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll reach out to our contact in Travis County and see how involved they were. So it's funny, Missouri City happened while I was there. Now we had lost a director and they were trying to find someone and they'd brought in an interim and the interim did it and I wasn't
think she
involved.
just brought it up once there. when-
Just brought it up. And I mean, I wasn't involved, I couldn't tell you much of how they did it at all, but I mean, Jim, who's now gone into the private sector, could definitely tell us, but sometimes staff is involved in the process, you know, and sometimes they're heavily involved, so we can reach out to Travis County and see if Robert was involved. If not, we know Stacy was involved. Kelsey used to work under Stacy in New Braunfels, and that's a really, 15, 20 years,
Yeah.
group, so she could, and she started it,
Stacy started it.
so she could tell you all about it, and then we could find someone closer if we needed to that could give you a newer perspective as well.
And then also they could talk about the things that they're doing to keep fundraising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that'd
all
be
the
awesome.
various methods that they use. Because a lot of them do, you know, the typical galas that Shane has mentioned, but they also hold land in trust so that you can get grants from, you know, Texas Parks and Wildlife and so on and so forth. So I think it might be good to get both perspectives, both a brand new and someone who's been around for a while.
Yeah, I like that.
Kimberly has to know how Georgetown's happening too. I mean, being there for as long as she has.
Yeah. So it sounds like consensus would be to do a work session.
If you want a motion, I'll make it.
I think we're
This one
discussing
just
only,
discuss, yeah.
There we go.
but we see head nods.
Would be on.
Yes.
Well, I have one question. So I know in one of the previous meetings, we talked about, or it was mentioned that like foundations have different funding strategies, whether it's like large grants
Sure.
or the like more gala. Has there been a decision yet of the strategy that we want to take as a?
We've discussed things and we're leaning towards things, but no, we haven't.
You could hear them out before you made that final
Yeah,
decision too.
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
You know what I mean?
If a decision had been made, I would say
Yeah.
we should probably have a group that
Oh yeah.
that's doing something very similar to what we've already decided that we want to do. But if it's kind of to help us like guide us through the process of exactly how do we
Yeah.
want to handle it.
You may hear what they're doing and say, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
One question about the 5 o'clock thing. Will that work for everyone here, or should we do it on an alternate Thursday and do it at 7 normal time? So I know everybody has different schedules. of when
Yeah,
they work.
no, you're right.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
Yes, that would be my preference.
Okay.
An alternate Thursday at 7.
The reason we said 5, and y'all can do whatever you want, following council, when council starts at 7, they have a work session at 5, if they have a work session. So we were just trying to see if that would fit. If that didn't fit for y'all, yeah, let's do the second Thursday or the fourth Thursday or
Yeah.
whatever, and have a special meeting for that.
I can put some dates together and then send out an email and everybody can vote on what works for them, especially because it's summertime right now. There's various vacations and things, so.
It's also we're gonna need to find out if the folks that were wanting to be there can be at one of them.
True.
Or it's just gonna be us talking to you again. That's not gonna get you anywhere.
I just thought too, one of the other things we can do is maybe the one individual or the two individuals that can be here in person and lead the session. For those that can't, we could reach out to them and see if they could put together some information, just like a one pager
yeah.
on how they got started, so that you kind of have
Absolutely.
perception from each individual.
Yeah, and just any helpful tips they have or anything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Five A, discuss and consider action on subcommittee appointments.
It's great that everyone is here. So we have 3 subcommittees now under this board, and they can hold up to 3 people. The people that are currently on them will have to re-request to be on, and they can re-request to be on. There's no term limit on a subcommittee, so they can re-request if they'd like. And I think, although we've gone over each of these, I don't know if you want the folks that are on the committee to talk about it, or maybe everyone's pretty clear at this point what these 3 committees are, and you're just interested in voting. I'll let you decide.
Does anybody have a question about what the 3 committees are? What their focus is?
The pollinator's a new one, correct? Okay.
Yeah, nobody's on
Okay,
that
I
one.
just wanna.
Yeah.
It's the combination of bees and butterflies, and I guess anything else that pollinates.
Wasps, yeah, some
Wasps,
are, yeah.
Hummingbird, all the things.
And the tree care advisory board is about allocating funding.
It's tree
Existing
plantings. So
funding.
the only thing we've done so far
Okay.
with that is the school tree plantings. So hopefully do that again, and then maybe some more opportunities for planting trees. And we use the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, honestly, it's a subcommittee that think tanks or worksmiths tree care initiatives for your quarterly meeting. You know, we meet once a quarter as the tree care advisory board, but to come up with initiatives and ideas, there's been a subcommittee that's kind of just been the think tank of that, trying to generate ideas. So when y'all have y'all's quarterly meeting, oh, this is an idea. Let's plant trees in schools. Boom, 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 you know. So
And then we were just talking about Parks Foundation, so.
yeah, Parks Foundation is just, there's a group formed to try to figure out what this next step would look like. The recommendation ultimately to council, and
Can you be on multiple subcommittees?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested in all 3.
Yeah. Of course.
I don't know
But
how
I
you
don't
wanna
have
do it.
Let me think. I don't wanna necessarily do, a nomination,
Yeah,
because I don't want anybody to feel like they,
have to nominate themselves, or they didn't
Yeah.
get what they want, yeah.
I think what I'd like to do, if everybody's okay with it, is just to find out,
Who's
kind of go
interested?
around the room and find out who's interested in what, if anything. I
anything,
mean, maybe you're
right.
too busy, and that's perfectly fine too. And then that way, nobody feels left out. Is everybody okay with that? Nobody will feel on the spot or anything?
Yep.
Okay. Amy?
So I guess I'm right now I'm gonna say I'm too busy.
Yeah, she also, this board also does Deutsche Fest. and she's
Yeah.
the chair.
And that's perfectly fine.
And so definitely in the fall I'm too busy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, thank you so much for doing that
Yes.
for us.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lot of fun, so I like it.
All 3.
Okay.
I like trees and the foundation.
Okay. I will skip me for now.
Can we do
I
that
would
all?
say
Shut
I'm
up.
interested in all 3, but I'm
Okay.
strongly interested in the Parks Foundation.
Okay. I'll put an asterisk by strongly. Okay, Michael?
Pollinators, I would be interested in.
Okay,
I'm not in a position to be on any of them right now.
okay. So, we have 3 without me piping in, we can only have 3.
I could take them back. So what are you interested in though?
Well-
We can arm wrestle. Is it allowed by the commission
Yeah.
to arm wrestle?
2 commissioners go into this board.
One comes out. You know, I'd be interested in a pollinator, but I'm also okay just being
Hearing their,
apprised of,
yeah, hearing
Right.
their recommendation, yeah.
I certainly do not have to be on the subcommittee.
But I want you to be involved. I mean, honestly, I'm okay if I just,
So we have threes on everything if you
we
don't
have threes on
participate.
everything, yeah.
Gotcha. And you and Amy are chair and chair, whatever, vice chair, so y'all have things that you are doing too, so. You could probably, someone
Alright,
can
I'm
make a
gonna make a
motion.
nomination.
You can make a motion for it to go as.
I'm gonna make a motion that for tree care, we put Jennifer, Carol, and Chelsea.
Hold
For
on.
pollinator,
I
okay.
gotta write all that down. Jen, Carol, and who?
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
For pollinator, Jennifer, Chelsea, Michael,
Hold on. Okay.
and for Parks Foundation, Jennifer, Carol, and Chelsea. Do we have a second?
I'll second
Okay, Michael, second. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Easy peasy.
That was quick. Awesome.
All right, 5B, discuss and consider items on the future Parks and Recreation Commission meeting agendas.
You'd asked for Downtown East update. I
Yep.
know that we're gonna have that. Emily is out this month, or out this week for vacation, but she'll be back. July's Parks and Rec month. We'll have Jonathan give you an update on what we're doing for Parks and Rec month. Approval of the Parks and Rec master plan will happen next month as well.
Will we receive it with a moderate amount of time to look at it before the
Yeah,
meeting?
yeah, we had talked about making sure that we got it to you, so you can, so ultimately, we're doing something, we've tried to be really innovative. So ultimately, we're trying to do a magazine style, so it's much more palatable to most of the population, but almost like an executive summary, and then there'll be an appendix that'll just have, if you wanna get into the weeds, it's there, right? So we're working on both the magazine and the full appendix version, and we're trying to have both ready for you at the next meeting.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Great.
Perfect.
So you can just do an overview, or you could be like, man, they said something about trees. I can reference back to the chapter literally on trees and read 3 pages or whatever. It's up to you.
Will dog parks be in the?
Yeah, there's a section for dog parks.
Good. Right at the top under D.
Trash.
I'm bringing Ladybug, I'm telling you now.
And I'd like to make a motion that we have a subcommittee for dog parks.
I like it.
I'm gonna serve on that one.
Chelsea and I will be on that committee
I'm gonna serve.
with Amy too.
Gonna break it up.
All right, so we have 3 topics: Downtown East, Parks and Rec Month, and Parks and Rec Master Plan. Any other topics somebody would like to be put on a future agenda?
The mulch pile, you're gonna do updates with that?
The what?
The mulch pile?
Winter
Mulch.
storm.
Winter storm.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
And then, I don't know if we wanna do is the tree care advisory board the next one?
I don't know what I, we can,
I don't remember.
The last 2 meetings.
Scott would know if only he were here.
Okay, we
We'll
might wanna
find
do
out.
an update on tree plantings at school this year.
you want an update? Do you,
Well-
if it isn't that meeting, you want it to be at that meeting, or do you want it to be at this next
I
meeting?
think that meeting, cause we were talking about hopefully it started in August if we're doing it again.
Okay,
Yeah.
And then who's the staff contact for that? Is that Junior?
yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Probably get our Forster at this one, if he's here.
good idea. Anything
So
else?
tree plantings, mulch / winter storm. Okay. Ready if you are.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Is that Chelsea? All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, Amy. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, let me get my watch back out. It is 8:13.